I invite you, as you let the sound of Pete's beautiful, gentle piano playing wash over you and through you, to let that sound bring you gently to your own breath. Letting your breath in and out fill each cell. Bringing you into awareness of that infinite presence of love that shelters you now, that shelters you always. And I invite you to let the sound of my voice, as I lead us into a meditation adapted from Ellen Davenport, a meditation on the principle that God is absolute good, everywhere present. Let the vibration of my voice be an anchor, or let it wash over you, and find your own way into these words. I enter into the stillness. Align myself with the one mind, the one heart, the one love, the one shelter, the one presence that permeates all of creation. I know myself as part of this creation. Connected to all of nature, connected to all sentient beings, connected to all that was and is and will be. I am the light and darkness. I am the oceans and the land, the rocks, the trees, the fish and birds, the crawling ones, the beasts of the earth. And I am one with every sibling of mine on this planet. In the infinite shelter of this oneness, I sense the divine order of all things, the divine love that moves in me, that moves in every molecule of the cosmos. I know the divine intelligence that is the foundation of all that is, all that ever will be. And in this shelter, in the shelter of our lives just as they are, we are joined together, one in heart, one in mind, one in soul. Sheltered in the heart of the infinite presence, sheltered in community, sheltered in the immensity of the universe, sheltered in our call to love. And taking a deep breath in, feeling the breath of that infinite presence sheltering in your own body. Adding your exhale to the shelter of this moment. And coming back fully here with each other. And with eyes and hearts open in gratitude. Thank you, Pete. So where I begin my thinking and spiritual practices at the beginning of a week or a couple of weeks out, as Roger and I are planning ahead and thinking about how to weave the music and the message together, where I start out is not always where I end up, because it is that God of surprise. And so this week, as I did my daily practices, did my to-do list, showed up as best I could in the allness of me, I had many reminders of what it is to do community here, what it is to find shelter. And one of the things that's, I think, one of the greatest gifts that I receive from my minister's role is that I have an all-you-can-eat buffet of spiritual inspiration to draw from. That it's not a shallow way of building the well of Spirit's work in me. It is a deeply satisfying ability to reach out across the wisdom traditions, ancient, new, and find the ways they weave into my being. Today I have some inspiration based on both a conversation with a dear one from this community and also on the recognition that in churches that are lectionary-based Christian churches all around the world, this passage from the gospel attributed to John is being read. And it felt so fitting for a day when we recognize the shelter of community by meeting again after the service to see how we're doing community. So here from John. Jesus prayed for his disciples, and then he said, I ask not only on behalf of these, but also on behalf of those who will believe in me through their word, that all may be one. As you, Father, are in me and I am in you, may they also be in us, so that the world may believe that you have sent me. The glory that you have given me, I have given them, so that they may be one as we are one. I in them, you in me, and that they may know you have sent me and have loved them, even as you have loved me before the foundation of the world. The world does not know you, but I know you, and these, my friends, know that you have sent me. I made your name known to them, and I will make it known, so that the love with which you have loved me may be in them, and I in them. There are a lot of words repeated in that. Call to, may we be one. The power of Christ's love now releases me. Christ not as the last name of this historical figure, Jesus, but as that infinite consciousness that we are made of and that we're invited to remember. Any of you have trouble remembering that on the daily? I do, on occasion, have trouble remembering. That is our infinite presence. And so here is a little bit of Diana Butler Bass reflecting on this passage from John. Jesus prayed with confidence for those he didn't know and those who were yet to be born. That passage says, I will make it known. That's the ongoing revelation of making this oneness known. She remarks that it's not the love that will known because of some miraculous intervention by God to bring about a humanity suddenly of love, unity, and peace, although I pray for that daily. But because Jesus knew his friends, the ones who were with them, getting that message in that historical moment, would do the work when they recognized the oneness with that infinite presence that has loved them from the foundation of the world. And so Diana reminds us that those who hear these words, then and now, are asked then to love as this way shower loved. It is so simple, even if we don't find it easy. We are called, she reminds us, that how we treat the poor, the outcast, the infirm, with dignity and respect or with cruelty, how we heal and embrace and welcome, how we feed the hungry, is how we show the world how we know our oneness, not just as a word we say, but as a lived expression of who we are. We are here together to do this work, to do community, to love beyond our comfort zones, to love remembering that we are loved from the foundation of the world, whatever that means to us. Here's how Ellen Davenport talks about that oneness in her book, The 5 Principles. That reminder of what our foundational principle is. God is everywhere present and all good. She writes, Principle 1 maintains that we are one with God, not separate, not being watched. Did you do that right, sister? Oh, that wasn't so good over there. We are not being watched, but immersed in the divine. We live and move and have our being in God, as we're reminded in Acts of the Apostles. And in oneness, God lives and moves and has expression in us. The holy mystery of oneness is immanent, right here, present, and transcendent, everywhere, within us and all around us. This is also a reminder from the ancient wisdom attributed to the Tao Te Ching, maybe written by a philosopher named Lao Tzu. How can the divine oneness be seen? In beautiful forms, breathtaking wonders, awe-inspiring miracles? The Tao is not obliged to present itself only in this way. If you are willing to live by it, you will see it everywhere, even in the most ordinary things. Another container at that buffet table. Here is Sufi teacher Llewellyn Vaughan Lee. Oneness is very simple. Everything is included and allowed to live according to its true nature. This is the secret that is being revealed, the opportunity that is offered. How we make use of this opportunity depends on the degree of our participation, how much we are prepared to give ourselves to the work that needs to be done, to the freedom that needs to be lived. We have this message from John. We have the interpretation of that through a unity lens in Ellen Davenport. We have the Tao Te Ching. If you search passages and quotes about oneness, you'll find all kinds of great things. We have a Sufi teacher, a modern day Sufi teacher. All of those teachings weave us into that shelter of remembering our oneness, not only through the amazing beauty of a gift of the rainstorm yesterday that knocked my irises flat and invited me to bring them in here to share, not only in the beauty of the faces around us, but in the most ordinary, mundane moments. Taking out my mom and dad's trash cans on a Sunday night. Vacuuming, doing the dishes. Llewellyn brings us back to that prayer of Jesus that we heard in John and presents some hope. Love speaks the language of oneness, of unity rather than separation. In the depths of the soul, we are loved by God, or by however you think of that infinite presence, that presence that is omni-nameable and unnameable and goes by many names that we sometimes call God. That's my addition. This is the deepest secret, Llewellyn writes. The deepest secret of being human, the bond of love that is at the core of our being and belongs to all that exists. And the more we live this love, the more we give ourselves to this mystery that is both human and divine, the more fully we participate in life as it really is, in its wonder and moment by moment revelation. Last week, I asked us to think about a couple of prompts that have been playing around in my own heart and mind. What does my sacred practice look like in this world we're co-creating? What kind of ancestor am I becoming? Am I the kind of ancestor I want to see in the world? And from that song, Love, Serve, and Remember, why have you come to earth? So here I am, grounded in those prompts, only to see something that made me go, oh, and then there's that. A quote by a writer, Sherry Mitchell, that I saw on Richard Rohr's Instagram page from the Center for Action and Contemplation, that tipped my question on its head. The question is not why we are here. Oh, it's not? I thought it was. But how we show up most powerfully to meet the times we are part of. So here's a yes and. Why have we come to earth? How are we dreaming of co-creating a world transformed by love, by prayer, by service, here in our own community, in the greater community of Albany and all around the world? Each and every week we affirm that oneness. Can we affirm our oneness not only in saying the words, but in how we live it, in how we give shelter to each other, and how we give shelter to the most vulnerable in our own community and in our cities and towns and neighborhoods? Can we give ourselves over to the mystery that we are one with all of those starving right now in Gaza? Can we give ourselves over to the mystery that we are one with all of those in our own country who don't know how they're going to put food on the table, who don't know how they'll access the medical care that they or their loved ones need? Can we give ourselves over even to the mystery that we are one with all those whose hearts we see as closed to the bond of love that calls us into being? After the service today, we'll spend an hour and a half or so celebrating and learning more about the ways we do community. That simple act of passing time and building trust and saying yes to each other, to the needs of our community, to the ways we are invited to show up together. And so we draw strength from each other, from that infinite presence that is within us, that invites us to deepen our sacred practices so that we are awake and remember that we are one. We draw strength in community, in all of the ways we show up together, to live in loving service to the least of these, to our neighbors, wherever we find them, wherever we are called to be the healing presence of love wherever we are called to be shelter for another heart that is aching. Can we be shelter for each other, held in spirit, held in love, even when it is not easy? I know I can only do that because we're doing it together. And so one more rich morsel of food to close with at this multi-faith buffet of oneness. I found earlier in the early spring a book which I have shared different things from this before. It is a book titled Opening to You, and they are Zen-inspired translations of the Psalms by an author, Norman Fisher. So here is an invitation to us today into Psalm 146. My soul brims with gratitude for you, whom I will praise all my life. As long as I am, I'll sing your songs. Do not put your trust in the powerful, mere people who can hold but can never save. When their breath leaves them, they return to the earth they're made of. And on that day, all their hope ends. But happy is the one who trusts you, O beloved shelter, for help, whose hope rests with you, who made the heavens and earth, the sea, and all it holds, whose truth is endless, who brings justice to the oppressed, bread to the hungry, who frees the bound, teaches the blind to see, lifts up the bent over, who loves the upright, guards the strangers, protects the orphans and widows, and provides the heedless with the trouble they need. You whose way is right forever, our guide for all the generations, praise is yours. So may we heed the trouble that awakens us to our yes, to being shelter, to being love, to being among those doing the work, to uplift, to feed, to unbind what binds us. And may we do that with grace in the shelter of each other, held in Spirit's love. And so it is. Amen.